I am.
Let's call to order the meeting of the Copp Family Overseers Board / Groton Parks Foundation Board. This is the longest titled board in the town. Roll call for the Copp Board. Let's see.
Here. Alan.
Ellen, Tom, me, Andy, no, and Jim, not yet.
So it's only three of you.
3, yes.
And then on the other board, there's 9, and there's what? Two missing.
Yeah.
So at this point, Jim and Neil are, oh, no, I'm sorry, and Andy, 3 missing. 6 of the Groton Parks Foundation boards are here, Ray.
Yeah, the Parks Foundation, yes. But the Board of Overseers, only 3, right?
3 of 5, yeah.
3 out of 5, right. That's a quorum as far as everybody's concerned?
For both.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Do we have any citizens petition comments or concerns? Mr. Barry?
Yeah, so we've been, and this, I'm sure, John, happened when you were charged, was dogs out at the Copp property that are off leash, interacting with other dogs that are off leash. We have
By the dozens is,
yeah,
we can see when you go out there and walk.
yeah,
Every dog's off the leash.
yeah.
I mean, geez, how many did we encounter yesterday? That
Yeah.
every dog is off the leash.
Yeah. So, there's no leash law in Connecticut, there's no leash law in Groton. So trying to manage that is a challenge because, well, everybody thinks their dog is a good dog and under control. But when a dog charges up to someone, and I have this happen to me, I'm out dressed like this, and a dog with muddy paws comes running and jumps on me. Oh, she's just, yeah, well, now
Yeah.
I got.
You hugged the dog.
Yeah. So anyway,
Lucky that's all you got.
yeah, we've posted signs that say, keep your dog under control.
Mhm.
That
Close
actually
control.
yeah, close control, and it
right.
actually shows a leash from the person to the dog, trying to, convey the message that it really should be on a leash. So we had an incident last week, and we've decided now that we're going to post the animal control number so that if it kind of raises people's awareness, like, oh, there's
Jim is here, Ray.
there's something that can be done. And having a phone number posted in a number of places makes it easier if somebody
Share.
if there's an incident where 2 dogs get into it.
Past COVID.
So, anyway,
Good. That'll help.
Yeah, and I've been getting feedback about.
You better go on the walk.
Barbed
Yes.
wire out on the property, and the park staff, every time it gets located, we go out and take more of the barbed wire out, and taking out like a truckload of barbed wire.
Yeah, I've seen the flagging out there.
Yeah.
Like one of our luminary trails, it's flagged. It's in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Flagged
Well,
up, yeah.
but the thing is, when dogs are off leash, they run into the woods,
Jesus,
and then
that's
they
right.
get, and then
We
they
didn't even think
run
about
into,
that.
yeah, we had a lady over a year ago, her dog got tangled in the wire, so tangled that she had to call the police and get the dog out. And the dog had to travel to New Haven twice a month to go in some parabolic air chamber because the dog's skin got ripped off in like a huge chunk, and it just wouldn't heal. And
Wow,
yeah.
that's
So
a
now
lot-
she's
that's a
been like-
liability for you.
yeah, well, now, so she's been kind of scouring the woods looking for barbed wire, and when she finds it, she'll send us a picture and try to tell us where it is, and we'll go out and get it.
Yeah.
If you need one of us, once my foot's better, I'd be
Oh,
willing
that'd
to
be
do
tr-
that
yeah,
during
that'd
the
be
winter. You
Yeah.
know, maybe one of my walks is try to
Yeah.
concentrate, bring some flagging out and try to
Yeah.
concentrate on
Yeah,
barbed wire.
that'd be great.
Okay,
Mark, that has always been a problem. I mean,
yeah,
I
it's
think-
everywhere
I
there.
think this group, faced it probably 10 or 15 years ago, but there's
Yeah,
no good answer. And of course, back then, there wasn't nearly as many dogs or anybody in the park. It's
right.
great to see how many people are using the park, but
Yeah,
in the same sense, it just elevates the chance of having a problem, but.
right.
But.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're heading in the best direction you can considering the situation that you have to
Right.
deal with. So I don't think,
Yeah, and
so I don't think we can
Yeah.
pass a rule that over
no,
supersedes.
I mean, there'd have to be an ordinance
Yeah.
and going down that path, it's a.
Well, you go on.
Oh,
Not
God.
anywhere I wanna go.
Well, if there's a warning sign of some kind, not responsible for dogs off leash, there's barbed wire,
Yeah,
you should be aware of that.
yeah,
Been discovering from hundreds of years ago,
right,
then people are at least aware that it's an issue.
yeah,
And then they can make a choice as to whether they have the dog on or off leash.
right.
Yeah.
Do they have the ability, if they were to take a picture of an aggressive dog, to text it to animal control? Or how do you get in touch with animal? You have to call them?
Well, I mean, if you've got their phone number,
Yeah, of
you should, well,
course they're not.
although
there
it's probably a
24/7.
landline.
Yeah,
Right, so texting a picture to a landline isn't gonna.
no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what,
so-
I was
Yeah,
hoping
it's-
they might be beyond landline stage, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. That would certainly help. But I don't think the town has the technology, so it's a phone call to say, hey, my dog just got attacked by a, whatever.
Yeah.
And I probably don't hear about a quarter of the incident,
Yeah, I'm sure.
that happened.
I've seen incidents out there with,
Yeah.
dogs are just excited and one
But-
dog will charge up to
Yeah,
some other little dog and
right,
words are exchanged, barks and words.
yeah.
I think if it weren't for humans, the dogs would probably get along just fine.
Well,
No humans in the
Right.
park, Ray.
or we'd be accelerated evolution and the fitter would survive. And
Only the dogs in the dog park.
Usually on a neutral ground that, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, that's probably,
So you're representing the lady today? The lady with the chopped up dog?
was I representing her? Yes, I was just
You were
giving
going,
her,
you were passing on a citizen's comment.
passing on a citizen's comment, yes.
Mhm.
Thank you. Anything else, or I'm sure there'll be more for you later on.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Ray. We have minutes from the May 1st meeting. And we have a motion to approve those minutes.
so moved.
Second. Did you get that, Ray? Dick and Jim,
Okay, thank you.
any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of the minutes? Aye. Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Okay, Mark, you had a
All right,
10-second
to you.
break. Now we're back to you.
All right, so I think at the meeting in May, I reported that we had applied for and received a recreation trails grant to continue making improvements. We have not been able to do anything yet because we're still waiting for the executed documents from the state. And they said, no, there would be no refund of expenses until we have the executed documents in hand. They said it could be as late as November before we hear from the state. I think they awarded over 100 grants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they're buried
Yeah.
right now and we're still waiting. And then we can start moving forward. We do have a demonstration of the Soundscape software, which is the software that we're going to be using for blind and visually impaired. There's a demonstration coming up on November 4th, I think. I'll send you all the, and we've sent out invitations. Just the gentleman that is working with the programmers, developing the software is coming from New York, and he's gonna set up a trail in the Copp property and then do the demonstration the following day. And, you know, so folks can download this app onto their phone and
Is that dog on a leash?
Give another member.
and yeah, and then we'll just demonstrate how that software works. And we've been working with the blind and visually impaired community center of Southeast Connecticut.
Should be.
Mark, that'd be very interesting, getting that contact for our accessibility person in Avalonia.
Oh, okay.
I think she would be very interested in attending that, since
Okay.
we've been big on
Yeah, I think we
accessibility.
have
ADA
sent
stuff.
that, who was the,
Alana Sherman sits on our board.
I think what's the president's name?
Dennis Main.
Yeah, I think we've sent it to him. and I
Okay, let me
don't know
check
that
with
we did
Dennis.
that, but-
Okay,
All right, I'll just add this to.
and that, what date was that? Number
It's
4.
November 4th or
At
Friday?
Copp?
It's one day.
Okay, so maybe it's November.
Okay.
I'll
No, it's not November.
I'll send everybody an email with the date and time. Okay, so that's the Rec Trails grant. The department budgeted for money to do an operational analysis of Shinnecock Golf Course. We've hired a consultant, and they're coming to town in a couple of weeks to do stakeholder interviews and meet with all the staff to talk about to look for opportunities for improvement with the operation of Shinnecock Golf Course. Of course, we've just had our 5 best years in a row,
I was gonna say, yeah.
but there's always room for improvement. And
Search for
the
more
la-
money.
the last time, well, and you know, improving customer service. I think the last time it was done, John, were you here? 2000 and,
Oh,
oh no, 2004. Yeah,
I was here, yeah.
yeah. So that was National Golf Foundation did. it.
Yes.
Right. And they were one of the consulting groups that we interviewed, but we opted to go with somebody else. But yeah, so it hasn't been done in 20 years. So we're updating that.
Thanks to COVID, Shinnecock has become a gold mine.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, everything else went bad, but the golf
Yeah.
business went.
is that really? So.
Oh, yeah,
because you
yeah.
could social distance playing golf, huh? And that,
It's
and it hasn't lagged.
kept going, yeah.
afterwards, huh?
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
I mean, it was really lagging before COVID.
It
Yeah.
was, yeah,
Yeah.
we were seeing a drop off in number of members and greens and rounds.
It was a challenge.
Really,
balancing the
that's
budget.
amazing. Reacquainted people with the game of golf.
Yeah,
Used-
yeah,
Mm,
and it hasn't dropped off for us at all.
Wow,
We've got close to 500 members now, and prior to COVID, I think it was down to 150.
oh my God.
To
that's-
go and play out there to get a tee time,
Yeah,
it's really tough.
yeah,
Because unless you're a member, they have restrictions on
yeah.
timing and this and that. and-
Right, and that's actually something we're gonna be looking at, because we do monthly revenue reports. And we're seeing our revenue drop off because of an increase in pass holder play. So to your point, if you're not a season pass holder, getting onto the course is very difficult now.
But there's something else for you to keep in mind. I'm not a member anywhere. I float around when I play golf.
Yeah.
And I like to play shinny because it's in my backyard and
Right.
quality courts, whatever. So whenever you go to sign up, which is, the window starts at 6 o'clock the day before for X number of days.
Right,
If you call at 6:01, you're lucky to get a 2 o'clock in the afternoon tee time.
yeah,
It is impossible to get one in the morning.
right,
But if you go out there, there's big blocks where nobody's going off the tee box. So I don't know if members are reserving the times
and then just not showing.
and then just not showing up or
Yeah.
canceling.
Mm,
The last time we played, We went at like 1 minute after and we got a unheard of 10:50 tea time. And we were just delayed because guys coming over from New Haven or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we got there and we're warming up. And we usually get there about 20, 25 minutes ahead of time, put on sunscreen, whatever. And we're sitting out there putting and it's still like 20 minutes to go. And the guy says, "You're up." And there was nobody, and this was a weekday, there was nobody on.
People
Nobody there.
know how to play the game.
Yes, all the tea times were booked when we looked into that one time.
Is there a policy that you sign up and you have to check in so they know if you have signed up as a pass holder and
Yeah,
have
you got-
not
you gotta
checked?
check.
Oh, yeah, everybody
check
should
in.
check in, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have things like, I don't want to think negative here, but if I'm a pass holder, could I get a tea time and then give it to 4 buddies?
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, then that season pass holder would have to show up at the pro shop.
But it's just a tea time.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they could say, well, 3 of us are here, the guy got sick, and we filled him in with a 4.
Right.
I'm just
yeah.
waiting.
There's always ways to game the.
Oh, yes.
Play the game, yeah.
Right,
I wonder if you could,
You don't have to put that in the notes.
yeah.
yeah, leave that out, will you?
I'm not a golfer, but are they paying for those rounds that they don't show up for? Their
Season member, you just pay for the card, right?
And that's one thing that we're
Yeah, because
looking at is, in some places, you pay in advance, and if you don't show up, you're 60, 70 bucks.
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, but
And
we don't,
people-
we're not doing that now.
I know. Well, I was gonna say, people would tend to show up, whatever even if it was $50 or $40,
Right.
it's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should be a penalty,
There should be a
otherwise
penalty.
otherwise you're just gonna block
That's
things.
law.
out.
Except
Except for me.
that he won't get in those windows.
Right,
But there must be a way to do an analysis of how many of these pass holders have signed up and did not show. To see
Yeah,
if it's even a
that is
problem.
not something we're tracking.
Yeah.
So anyway. There's
I'm glad
a
we
number of areas of opportunity that I think will be discovered as we go through this operational analysis. I'm counting on it.
Mark is optimistic, Ray.
And the number of tournaments that you hold out there, increase, decrease, remain the same? Because
It's
those are
about
big
the same.
generators.
It's about 14, 15, 16 tournaments a year. And it's pretty much the same groups every year. Sometimes one will draw, we had to tell one tournament they couldn't come back because they kept, they showed up drunk and.
Party hardy.
Yeah,
Supposed to end the day drunk.
Yeah, that's
And-
90.
You host the Connecticut Senior.
Yeah.
You make money on that, or
They cut us a check. It probably does not,
equate to
Well-
the tea times you've lost?
yeah, but there's other values to hosting this.
You don't
because-
charge to attend, right? For the public.
No.
They want to follow somebody around.
Yeah, no, but we see play increase prior to, because the pros are showing up, with their friends, because they want to practice the course. And then we also see a bump afterwards, because everybody knows that the course is in pristine
Oh, yes.
condition. The greens have been triple cut and, everything else, so, if you look at what we would have made that day versus what we get paid, the two don't equal, but there's a lot of, ancillary income that as a result of being the host.
How do you make out for parking? Wherever I go, I only play weekdays.
Yeah.
Play during the day.
Yeah.
So you usually don't, I won't say you can't find a parking spot,
Mm.
but they're not really plentiful.
Right,
And I can imagine on the weekend or when the restaurant's really cranking, it must be tough out there.
yeah,
Field all the way down.
yeah, it's all the way down.
Plant
Main
Street, yeah.
Yep. We also have put together an athletic field task force that's been working on addressing the shortages of field that's John is. It's
Forever.
the same issue when John was here. And
No, I'm sure you've lost some because of school closings too, so that
yeah,
is kind of.
so we actually gave a presentation last week. There was like 40 or 50 people that attended. We've been working with Kenton Frost, who's a local landscape architect, on coming up with proposed plans at not Calvin Burrows, Clodchester, which is the school right at the intersection there. Making improvements to Sutton Park. There's 2 fields there, and also addressing the issues up at the high school. So the football field is too small to support any other sport but football. So lacrosse can't play there, soccer can't play there. The bleachers are not accessible. So anybody in a wheelchair cannot get to the bleachers. And
Well,
the restrooms are only for males. There's no, I mean, there's just.
Sounds like a train wreck.
There's huge issues up
Yeah.
Wow.
at Fitch Middle. So we got a lot of feedback from those that attended, and all of that information will get pulled into the next round of proposed plans. There'll be another presentation to the public, and then we'll go to the council with, this is what we've heard from the community that they want. This is the price tag. What is your wish to the council? So
do they let you use the fields at Fitch or Groton Middle School there, all those snow fields, or?
there is limited availability. Because the middle school, you're talking about the turf field, right?
Talking about all those fields.
Synthetic field, yeah, at the middle school. So there's limited availability because the middle school teams are on there until 5, 6 o'clock. And then the high school teams are trying to get on, and they're playing
rated.
until 8, 9 o'clock at night. So opening it up to a youth soccer team at 8:30 doesn't really work. Even though there's lights, it doesn't really work. So there's limited availability. Sometimes on the weekends, a group can get in, but there's still a definite shortage.
Yeah.
So that project is moving along. We're also updating our bike and pedestrian master plan. That started a number of months ago. We've had focus group meetings, stakeholder meetings, public workshop was 2 weeks ago. And we've had over almost 600 people fill out the survey. And, we're looking to identify areas where we can improve connectivity in the community for both bikes and pedestrians. I think the last time the plan was done was 2009, right, John?
Yeah.
So
Thereabouts.
yeah, so John's, I'm doing what John did 20 years ago, just updating.
Well, it's a great idea, great concept. If you could
Yeah,
connect the whole community.
yeah, yeah.
There's bits and pieces, but they aren't linked.
No, exactly. And so, we're going to try to fill in those gaps as best we can. Identify areas of stress where, there's too much traffic, there's no safe access on the sides of the road. And so we're working on that, and that should be completed, I think, by November or December. We're also doing a community tree management plan. So we did a street tree inventory, collected data on over 3,000 trees, both in parks and around public buildings, and also rights of way throughout Groton. We've identified areas where there is a lack of trees, areas where there's a lack of diversity, and this will help us address those areas that have shortages. We now know where they are and what we need to do. We're actually working with the planning department and have submitted a grant to plant 637 street trees.
Wow.
It's like a $500,000 budget because we included the staff to plant the trees, because we can't do it with the staff that we have and maintain it. So we built into the budget maintenance for the trees through an outside contractor for, I think, 1.5 years. So they would be responsible for planting, watering, and all of that for a year and a half until the trees get themselves established. And those will be in areas that, again, don't have enough trees, have a lack of diversity.
That's great.
Yeah,
What are you doing here? You got such a busy schedule.
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a crazy couple of years. for
I
sure.
flip through the channel, the public access channel too. I see you
Yeah.
addressing the council.
Yes, yeah, there's
I was gonna
always,
say,
It's,
don't let the state DOT know about your tree plan. They'll come and cut them all down. You look along the roadways, that is criminal,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
what they're doing to the roadways.
yeah, they have cut back.
Oh.
Um,
It is
What's the,
for absolutely no reason. There's no electrical wires, there's no,
yeah,
the big concrete berms. And they're going like 30 feet beyond to trim strip. For what reason?
right,
Mhm.
yeah,
yeah.
I have,
And I've tried to get answers and they just, well, it's for safety, baloney. And
Yeah.
what they're gonna do is they're gonna then put in more seed for grass and have more mowing to slow down traffic even. I'm very cynical about this.
oh,
Just drive along 95.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
oh, yeah,
It is disgusting.
yeah. Yeah.
Nobody seems to give a shit. Excuse my
Yeah.
language. They don't.
Well, I have heard a couple of people, and that actually got brought up at that workshop that we had a couple of weeks ago for the bike and pedestrian, is someone raised a question, why are they taking down all the trees along 95?
I assumed they were widening.
But it's
the highway.
95, 395.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
It's
95
everywhere,
too.
yeah. It's in state highway.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yep. All right, so
They passed a bill.
that's all that I got.
Somebody else is
They're
pocketing a lot of money.
fully employment for.
Thank you, Mark. Any other COP board business? Moving on to Groton Parks Foundation business. Mr. Treasurer, do you have a report for millions?
So I did print some extras, figuring it should be sending them out, but I
No,
assume no.
it's a good assumption.
I look for it. I'm trying to donate, never mind.
So currently at September 30th, 2024, we have just shy of $32,000 in the bank, 31,960. I can't, 6652. That's okay. I did not post the interest income for the month of September, which probably is about 47 cents. So this report might be a little inaccurate, but of that money, now we've kind of tracked under, if you go down on that first page, that this kind of money that's been held over for some other projects. There was the Club 55, which is, so that's about $1,300.
It's the sign, yeah.
Yeah, the sign. The special need, that number's been, that predates me, that number that's been hanging out there. And then the Wolfbrook, which I know we've talked about at past meetings,
Oh, yeah, so sorry to interrupt, but
Yep.
the Wolfbrook, so we are hiring a auditor to do a management plan for Wolfbrook, and we're gonna use up all of that money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark, on that special need money, I mean, that's been, accumulating.
Has that grown at all?
I haven't added to that. So the only thing, and again, if you want to go to page 3. We've gotten 2 deposits during the year, one for 2003-0250, another one for 1651-93,
Yeah.
which I think has come from Pfizer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pfizer will match the value of volunteer hours. So we've had a couple of events where there was a number of Pfizer employees volunteering their time. And that's what those checks, those volunteer hours are tied to special needs events.
So should that go?
So that should go to that
Special needs restriction.
special needs. Yeah, yes,
Does Eileen know that that kind of money's sitting in here? I mean, she could use that for something, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she's been asking about these checks from Pfizer and where they were going. And yes, they should be going to,
So we can certainly move those to the
okay,
restricted money.
okay.
So that will.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So that will increase that 7 by about $4,000,
Yeah, I mean, it's what, 11,000-12,000.
12,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
What does special needs encompass?
We have a robust special needs set of programs, and it goes to cover,
Tuition or
yeah, and just
Fees.
expenses related to the operation of those programs.
I mean, people make donation, they
Yeah.
got grants. Probably what's happened is they haven't used them all up.
Right.
it's piled up, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like
You get a $10,000 or $5,000 grant, you only.
whoever can,
So,
should be advertising.
you know, there's a lot of money that
available, yeah,
she could use.
yeah, she probably should.
Yeah.
She's not aware, she needs to start using it up if it's fenced for that purpose.
Mark, I don't know who you have for possible volunteers for various events, but I know Dominion has a similar program like that,
Mm,
as well as Pfizer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've used, Avalonia's used Dominion quite a bit, Nature Center, they're great, they show up like an army.
So doing the quick math. So we roughly have about 11,000 of unrestricted money left at this point in time.
For that, for special, needs, yeah.
No, 11 is when you back out all the special needs and you back out
Oh.
both Brook and you back out the club.
Oh, half,
So about 11,000 just
Non-restricted,
non-restricted.
Unrestricted.
Yeah.
Bad money, bad money, yeah.
Oh, where's that on the report?
The 11?
Yeah.
Oh, it would be,
There's
it's the 31 minus 16.
It worked really well for CMAC, yes, it worked great for CMAC, didn't it?
which means if we have lawyer groups that wanna, we can give grants if we're interested in doing that. So if
Yeah,
anybody knows of a group that,
worthy.
we give out $1,000 grants, so that's
Yeah.
quite a few
Right.
$1,000 grants, and you know, we haven't done.
Have we ever advertised in the past that we have
Yeah,
money
we did it.
available
We
for
did a few
grants?
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we
should do it again.
should do it again.
Or we could use some of that money to try to raise more money,
Yeah,
theoretically.
Theoretically.
Oh, after the luminary walk, I'm sure we'll have another $200 or $300.
if we're lucky.
Uh,
It's, yeah,
Just,
So
I
that's-
just
that's
want to reiterate, I guess, that money for grants, for, as far as I'm concerned, the way I read it, is that it's really number one to go to Groton Parks and Recreation programs. So I'd be careful about putting out carte blanche out to the community. Because
No,
I
you're
don't-
right, you're right.
I don't think that was the intent. I think we really want to stay home and support our own Parks and Recreation Department.
Amen.
well, then Mark needs to advertise internally.
Yeah.
Come on, Mark.
That's what happens when that's what happens when
Don't
I
have
wake
anything
up
else
over
to
here.
do. Thank you, Don, for clarifying that point.
Just took a short nap.
Oh, thank you.
Could spend that 11,000 8 different ways.
I'm sure. 8 different times too.
Yeah.
So, well, Mark, you had another break. Now you can go back and tell us how many donations we've had. in the last
Yes.
6 months.
So we've brought in a total of $135.
Look at it, shooting up and.
The disconnect is, we never, although we did,
Yeah, we got
did
it.
finally cut a
There
check.
was a check for $2,097 that was received last November. So that was the last month.
Okay,
Part of that was the the
All
first luminary walk.
No, I think that was just
No, that was,
screwing up all the contributions.
exactly.
Okay.
right, yeah, so we need to actually look at what we've collected in the last year. And cut a check.
Yep, so it's 11, the deposit was on, 11/13/23.
Is that? What page is that on?
That's the last page. Maybe yours were-
Oh, it says it's on page 3, but
Did I?
Maybe yours get out of order.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
It's the 397.
Oh, all right, so that was, all right, and you said that was last.
11/13/23.
So we need to go back. For the last year. Get that squared away.
at least it does accumulate a little bit of money for us, which is nice.
All right,
Moving on to unfinished business. Friday night,
Finish Friday night,
the third.
or the third
third
this time
time.
for sure.
time's the charm.
Now,
Exactly.
what could go wrong?
Thanks to our superstar member here, who was out spraying rocks.
Spraying rocks and hobbling
Hobbling
yesterday.
around the path.
The White Rocks, yeah.
Oh, did you see my white rocks? Yeah.
It's his new art.
Yeah, I
Yes,
know,
it's
I was-
kind of a street art.
An installation.
So, Dick and I will be there.
Yep.
Also, Andy, are you gonna be able to be there, Jim?
This weekend?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to,
Friday, it's not weekend.
That's
but-
right.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Okay,
Fort Leonard Woods
Good.
for a review of the Army's nuclear, biological, chemical warfare school.
oh, wow.
Should be interesting.
That sounds creepy.
Nuclear, chemical,
Biological.
biological warfare.
That's everything.
Have you forgotten anything?
So, our primary goal is to be out there when people complete the walk. We'll be sitting there in the dark at a table, Andy, myself, and anybody else who would like to join us, passing out information. This will be passing out for sure. Maybe something else if we are able to get that figured out between now and tomorrow. That's actually something we did back in 2016 that, I don't know how much we ever used it, but, it's not bad, except it's missing some information. Plus it has the old name of the senior center here, being the senior center, not the Thrive.
So is this up and running?
Yeah, that they have a lot of those.
So my,
Should be able, yeah, you should.
my effort to contribute stalled out on. It went through a lot of stuff and then it stopped.
Is that,
Just saying,
how updated is that one?
this one got me there, but then I couldn't actually make the donation. When it got to the credit card information, it went to,
Wow.
Okay.
oh, wait a minute, now I've got a new screen just came up.
Oh, okay, we're not done yet. I think we should note that Parks and Rec has been wonderful
Yes,
supporting this effort. Cindy and company, Mary Jo before she dropped out of sight. We've had regular meetings, they've organized things. It's been really very seamless, so.
Yeah. Yeah, they've done an incredible job. And,
Pat on the back to them for
you know, this was all set to go, what, a year ago?
a year ago.
And, you know, things have been collected, stored, brought back out, revised. It's been quite the task, and you know, we've been meeting quite regularly
Yeah.
to keep the idea going. And as far as I can see, the promotion has been outstanding. So thanks to Dick, who runs around sticking these on trees.
Well, it wasn't, it was me and Parks and Rec, so,
Other
yeah,
people, so.
the staff have been phenomenal, as far as their support.
So we should raise some money, hopefully give us a little exposure and those of us that are, Andy and myself will do our best to promote the value of Groton Parks Foundation and hopefully get some interest, community to help us a little bit and so we'll see how that turns out. But it's a lot of fun besides a lot of work, a lot of fun. If you want to know what dark really is, come out there. Bounce around in the golf cart when everything is taken down.
I'll bring my headlight, running headlamp this time.
So, anybody that wants to come is welcome to
Yeah.
come, obviously. But for sure, Andy isn't here tonight, but he said he'd be there on.
I think I've already reported I'm unable.
Yeah.
I've been filling.
So no trespassing signage. Is that something he's put on there, Mark?
No. Ray was. going
Oh,
to
this is-
Provide a map.
The Copp boundary, yes,
Yes.
with
Yeah.
Groton Utility.
Right, and Ray, I'll let you speak on this.
Okay, I finally got out there with a map and tried to map in the signs that I thought were maybe encroaching on our property from Groton Utilities. And what I found was that there seems to be a difference in maps from an aged one that I got from, I think, Gary Schneider. And the one that you showed me, Mark, the one that you gave me, Mark, is consistent with what topographical maps show as the Cops Park, if that makes any credence to both, you know. So the signs that I found, most of them, if not all of them, I was out there over the weekend, yes, Sunday and Monday, and they were all off of Copp property. So, you know, I would have to until I can resolve the map difference, the potential map difference, I'd like to table this item to a later discussion. I'll try to dig out that earlier map. I thought it was a survey, an actual survey, but I've seen later surveys by DeCesar Bentley that went into the, what was it called, the Copp property plan, I think. And they also are consistent with the map you sent me, Mark. So, you know, I may be wrong on that old map, but as I can tell now, those signs are not on Copp property.
Hey, Ray, I'd be glad to go out with you. I use a couple online GIS
Oh, yeah.
based, something called Regrid and something proprietary to Avalonia. I'd be glad to, and those have their downside and upside too, but I'd be glad to go out with you, take the paper maps, take my phone, the electronic different apps, and between the maps and the apps, we probably can tack this down.
Okay, let me do an informal
So-
screen sharing. I don't know how to do it, but here, does that show up?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
The green area is the Copp property, according to
Oh,
all
okay.
recent maps.
yep.
And the green track and the red track are two different tracks I did out there. The red dots are waypoints that are at or encompassing a series of the no trespassing signs by Groton Utilities. So those that I see here are indeed not on the Copp property. If this, I'm sure this map is correct. By the way, has any property boundary changed since, you know, Mr. Winkler, Dave Winkler started this whole effort? Has any maps changed since then?
I think so.
Not there, no.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, no property.
have- Yeah, there's been no additional acquired property.
Or lots?
No,
No, okay. Then I have to say, gents, I'm probably wrong, but I'll dig out that map that I had, from which I made a map of all the trails 10 years ago or something. But I'll do that and let you know at our next meeting. So it's nothing actionable now, is what I'm saying.
So Andy Halsey and I were out there today for an hour and walked east and then south. And when I pulled up maps to see where we were on all trails, on Google Maps,
Mhm.
and on Apple Maps. All of them put us basically in the middle of the reservoir, and I wonder if there's dithering that's going on by the subbase that's knocking those locations, because we were, I mean, literally, it didn't once put us where we were
Wow.
on my phone. It's
Mhm.
insane. And it was really, it wasn't off by just a little bit, it was off by a ton. You know, like half a mile.
Yeah,
I've been
that's
out there
interesting.
using my phone where I thought it was right on. We were
Yeah,
in the boundaries. I had no problem.
I've had no problem. This is the first
Yeah.
time I've had any
Yeah.
problem
Yeah,
with location on my phone, and it was dramatic.
yeah. That,
And it didn't matter what app I used.
that sounds funny.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm blaming it on the Navy, but
No.
just as an FYI, it could
Yeah.
happen.
Okay, I use Gaia, by the way, just,
Yeah.
but there's a number of them.
I use an app occasionally called Regrid, which is specific to property lines and surveys. But these guys all pull from the same databases, so.
I'll take a look at that, Regrid.
Yeah,
Did you say that-
Regrid, Regrid.
Did you say that's proprietary to Avalonia?
No, that's not proprietary. You should be able to download the app for that.
Okay,
Yeah, I've got it here.
Ray will put it on the agenda for our May meeting.
okay, I'll have a summary by then, I hope. I know I will.
Thank you. Appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, another walk in the park,
Yeah,
Gotta
so to
do
speak.
I
No pun
I love it with-
intended.
with my dog,
Off the
leash.
leash.
but under tight,
Oh,
control- under tight control.
yeah. What is your name, phone number, so we can
Yeah,
turn you in?
Animal control, here we come.
We accept no liability.
It's gonna be a citizen's arrest here shortly. Thank you. New business? Any feedback from annual or monthly walks? Or personal walks?
I actually, and I can send you an email, I noted it yesterday when we went out there, just where our walk goes down Yellow over the bridge, where Yellow continues there's that intersection, our luminaria is gonna go north again.
Yeah.
There is a no fooling widowmaker, looks like dead birch that broke and is hanging over the trail and it widow or widower maker.
Yeah, I was gonna
to be
say.
politically correct, but
Luckily, it's not.
recently snapped, not a huge tree, but it's hanging right over the trail, right at that intersection.
I know you guys are going out there, Mark, to sweep leaves. or
Did you see
blow
that
leaves.
too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's-
all right, we'll try to get somebody out there tomorrow.
Yeah,
because
okay,
That's the
yeah.
last thing we need is.
Any
Well,
other-
this is not it's not on the Luminaria Trail. It's immediately south of where the Luminaria turns to the north.
Oh,
But it's on Yellow Trail. You go across the bridge
right,
and you come to
Yeah,
the
the
grand
Yellow Trail
intersection there.
goes
Yellow Trail goes off to the right, to the south.
and the
It's
red
right as you pick up the red trail goes up on Luminaria. It's right as you pick up Yellow Trail and you can't miss it. It's sort of Damocles.
Okay, any other observations?
Every time I've been out there, the parking lot is jammed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yesterday was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, just incredible.
lots of people, which is great.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
Whereas most of them had 2 or 3 dogs.
it's probably running second to like Bluff Point
Yeah.
for visitation.
yeah, we're thinking about taking down a bunch of trees, paving the parking lot.
The state, I'm sure, will help you take the trees down. Mark.
For whoever's working with that big machine on 95, that's amazing.
At least they got smart and instead of blocking 2 lanes, now they only block 1 lane. When they first started,
Oh, my
they
God.
blocked 2 lanes
It was
and
backed up
I know.
to Rhode Island.
no need for that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, yeah. So, well, thank you, Dick, for your observation. Meeting dates for 2025. it appears that May 7th and October 1st would be the appropriate meeting dates. It should be the first Wednesdays of those 2 months. Do we need to make a motion on that, or is that just,
It's just our usual formula, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. May,
you want a motion, Mark? I'm sorry.
please, yes.
May first.
Someone like May 7th
No,
and
May 7th,
October 1st.
First.
Can we have a motion to approve those as our meeting dates for 2025? Yeah.
That close.
Alan and Jim made the motion, second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll let Mark take a break on this one. Hopefully you all remember what the Tercentennial Legacy Playground was or is. I'll keep it in the present tense. It was a legacy project of the Tercentennial celebration of the town of Groton, which was in 2005. Following that, and I was on that committee. I walked into Groton in 2000. All of a sudden, I became on that committee. I didn't know east or north, south, or west from any part of Groton, but I certainly learned a lot in a hurry. Needless to say, the legacy project, the group decided they'd put their leftover money into that playground, and then we went into a lot of fundraising. It's got to the point now where it needs to be replaced or repaired, but replaced appears to be the appropriate solution.
Yeah, that gets
But
a ton.
well loved, yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's,
and
every
I
time
get-
I run out there, there's kids
Yeah.
just infesting the place.
Yeah. And we've, over the years, made a number of repairs. And there are actually now pieces that we're not replacing. We just pull
Oh,
because they are so expensive. So there is a slide that's maybe 10 feet long that has this whole series of rollers on it.
oh, yeah.
$10,000
Jesus
to
Christ.
replace that. We have special chairs for, we have chairs for kids with special needs, so there's a little bit more, they're not quite as open, there's a little bit of buckling. Someone took the nylon strap that goes from one side to the other. Any bets on how much that nylon strap
It's
was?
like the Air Force's toilet seats, right?
$100
Jeez.
Jeez.
for 24 inches of 1-inch nylon strap. Now, why didn't we just go to Johnson's and buy that?
Yeah.
If there was ever an accident,
Yeah,
a good lawyer is going
Yeah.
to say,
Was that standard
it's
equipment?
that standard equipment, and as soon as you say no, get out the checkbook. So
Yeah,
we paid $100 for this 2 feet of nylon strap. I look at playgrounds like I look at printers, you know, get them at a good price and then
Buy the ink.
you go to buy the ink and, right?
yeah, exactly.
this because
So-
just playground equipment or because this is specialized
Well,
accessibility?
well, no, that one example,
Yeah.
the nylon strap was for a special chair. But the other playground parts are, you know, you find them in any play. It doesn't have anything to do with special needs or anything.
No, no.
And yeah, there are pieces that we don't replace anymore just because it's so expensive. And there's other pieces that we've replaced 2 or 3 times over the last 5 or 6 years. So I'll stop talking.
So actually, the town has formed a committee. What's Tamitha?
Tabitha.
What's her last name? Wilson.
Yeah.
Who's the head of the Parks Division. She's chairing that. And they've asked me to represent this group on there. One of the things that I did is I actually had a presentation that I put together 10, 15 years ago, which I showed them at the first meeting we had, which kind of showed them the process we went through and maybe give them a few ideas. If you remember, that was part of that project. The public put the project together. And Mark, I'll keep it a secret, but that slide, slide you're talking about is one that Robin put together, so I won't let her know that you're not fixing her slide.
Okay.
But it was a project that we had probably over 100 people, elected officials, the Rotary Club was involved. I'm sure there was members of this group at the time that helped out, but put together about half of that playground. The rest was put together by the town, but there was ongoing funding. We raised, I think, between $350,000, $400,000, some from grants, some from, donations from different organizations. The Groton Parks Foundation, as it has with other projects, became a funnel for money that, some certain groups didn't want to give money to the town. I'd rather give it to the foundation. So I think it was about $38,000 that we actually put through this. However, Tamitha brought up a good point, or maybe it was Mark. How is the original committee feeling about this? Just happen to know two of them. I don't know if you read that, the email that Jim Streeter sent.
Oh, I did, yeah.
There's a little pushback at this point, so we're gonna have to be, doing some educating or coming up with a way of memorializing part of it, or some way of,
The pushback is because of cost.
no, they put a lot of effort into it, and of course, I think part of the problem is you gotta go over and be there and look at it, and, you sitting in your living room, remembering what you did 20 years ago is one thing, and going over there and actually seeing it. So I think some point, Mark, you
Yeah.
gotta get them over there. Two people are on the council that I know very well. I sent them an email and just asked them, and particularly Jim Streeter kind of, was very concerned they were gonna tear down our playground, but I'm sure he'll change his opinion if he sees it, or we can at least come up with some way of, memorializing part of it, or doing something over there to make sure that people know, the original roots of the playground. But like everything else, it ain't gonna happen overnight. So, and we had a nice constructive meeting, but we need a lot more people involved with it, and eventually, I'm sure Mark will be coming to ask us for a little bit of money. No, the kind of money he need for this, if we aren't gonna be able to.
100, I'll be asking for 111,000.
Right?
Yeah,
have a
point on that, related to that. Do we have, does our insurance carrier for the town have a risk management assessment team that come out periodically and, for example, would look at that playground and other facilities we have?
Yes, we actually do a playground audit every 2 years. And we just had one done back in July, or maybe a little bit early. We had one done this year.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay,
And they identified areas that we need to make updates and on the playground.
Mhm.
And we've done most of those already. Because we've got 23 playgrounds that we're now overseeing. Yeah.
Mark, is anything obsolete and the standards change, that some of the things are technically unsafe, or, I know for a long time you were changing things.
Yeah, I don't think.
Changing the
like,
safety standards.
Just since the fall zones from the ends of slides, I know that I'm not aware that anything has changed recently. Which probably means they're thinking about more changes, right? We haven't changed anything in a few years.
If there was things there
Time
that were,
to do.
technically,
Right,
unsafe,
right,
it might be a little easier way of selling the.
right.
that's where I was going.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah.
So that's an ongoing project. They'll be meeting once a month. Mark likes to go to meetings. But, okay, next meeting will be next year,
7th.
7th. Anything else for the good of the two committees, the joint committees? Ray?
Yeah, a question going back to Mark's report earlier about the recreational trails grant. Excuse me. That money will be parsed out between all the facilities we have in town. Isn't that correct?
no, that money is specific for the Copp property.
Oh, really?
So Yes, so what we are hoping to do is continue the work that was done back in 2017. So we would be putting in a gravel path from where it ends now past the dog park up to the bridge. And then continuing that work on the other side of the bridge underneath the Widowmaker and down that trail a little ways. Our long-term goal, Ray, is to try to have a stone dust path all the way around the yellow trail. So, you know, the work that they did a number of years ago is, you got to the Y, it split off to the left and to the right. It didn't go too far on the right, but it went
Mhm.
further down on the left. So our eventual goal, like I said, is to make that connection all the way around.
Is that gonna make it more handicap accessible?
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
It will. Yep.
Good, because it seems to get you to a place where you are, if you're handicapped, a place you're stuck today.
Yeah, especially to the right. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't go very far, but like I said, our goal is to fill that gap in from where it ends now out to the bridge and then continue that work past the bridge through that area where there's a puncheon bridge now. You know, we've got all of those. It's kind of a wet area. So the plan calls for making the necessary improvements so we could remove those, the puncheon
Mhm.
bridge, and it would become a drier area just because of the way it's the way the trail's constructed.
What's the name of that bridge, please? The
Puncheon, I think it's Punchon.
Never heard
Hmm.
that term.
Yeah. So it's essentially two 2x6s, 2x8s, not butted quite together on an 8x8 block of wood.
Yeah.
It just
That-
raises it up, keeps people out of the wet. And, you know, you do them in 8-foot sections and we've got
that was a good job.
6, 8, or 10 of them.
Yeah,
The public works
Stretching through that wet area. No, that was Parks did that.
okay, but it was our local folks, right? And is what I mean.
Yes,
And
yeah.
and that served well, and I don't know why that wouldn't have served well for where we have the other very expensive bridge over that other area. They're very similar waterways, wetness ways. It just seems that, you know, we went overboard on that bridge. That's history, but speaking of which, are we considering anybody for a consultant for this new work besides Kent and Frost?
Well, they've already done the plans. So, and those have been approved. So when we go out to bid, it will just be for a contractor to do the actual work.
Thanks.
So it reminds me that it would have been a couple of years ago that we walked over that bridge in the Copp Park, and there was all this like,
the anti-attack or whatever it was, Dick went down underneath it.
yeah, it was
Oh,
unbelievable. There were
yeah, we
like
were
piles
worried
of
about that
sawdust.
sawdust, yeah.
Hmm.
I'll try to remember and look,
Andy and I didn't go that way this time,
The
but
bridge is still there, it hasn't come.
yeah,
well-
we just went over it yesterday, but we'll be out there Friday, so I'll try to, in my
Literally
wanderings,
piles
I'll
of
look
sawdust.
again, yeah.
It was
I mean, it's
Look
this
like
deep.
Carpenter Ants or
down
something, yeah.
that way.
And I thought maybe we brought that up and someone did a treatment mark. I'm not positive that was
Yeah, I
a follow through.
Yeah, this was, that
Let me,
was
let me,
what, 2 years ago.
let me go assess again. I'll try to hold that thought for a day and a half from now,
Okay.
2 days. from now.
Thank you, Ellen. Any other business to put before the group? Then we have a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
All in,
Actually, all of us moved.
unanimously, all of us,
You get, you're closer to it, so sound travel, I'm always gonna be the tail end of that dog. I'm gonna do that.
next time you're up here, Jim,
Then I can't.
we're gonna put, but at least you can make the motion. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thank you.
Dick, we'll
Thank
see
you all.
you in the
Yeah, I'll see
We'll see you
you,
in the woods.
yeah, I'm gonna do load up tomorrow, but
Okay.
you don't need to.
Thank
we
you.
talked about
I
that.
appreciate
think
it.
that's
I'm
gonna-
really sorry.
Thanks, Mark.
No, big deal. Hey,
You're fired.
life goes on. You're
Yeah,
fired.
that's fine.
Yeah.